Hey everybody, it's Annette Green again. I have been on a real paper flower making kick. In case you missed it, I did do a how to make paper flowers and more video, and I also did a Facebook Live for Elizabeth Craft Designs where I used the flower dies to make succulents. So there are two different videos that I will link in the description below for you if you want to check those out. A lot of these flowers were leftovers from that video that I did with the demo. But today I just want to share with you what I did with some of those leftovers, what other flowers I created to add to what I had, and I'm going to share this very cute spring cheerful colorful card, and of course this beautiful wreath for my door. So let's check it out. All right, so you've caught me in the middle of a project here, and that is a fun, cheerful little spring, happy spring card. Before I put this together, I am going to share what I used to make it. It's a basic card base. I have used the stitched indented rectangle set from Josette, Elizabeth Craft Designs. I have used the stamp set called Spring Sentiments. That's CS091. Lots of good little Easter phrases, and also just hello sunshine, you know, spring fever, happy spring. I have used the spring basket die. That is the feature today with all these great pieces in it. And then for some of the flowers, which there are some teeny little flowers on here too. I don't know. Oh, there they are, right there. And then I also have used the Florals 3, the smallest flower here. And then for some of the leaves and branches, I used the leaves and branches. So like I said, I've already showed you in the other video how to actually make all these flowers. I will show you close up and talk about them and how I did them. But I would encourage you to hop over to that other how-to video. It's about 45 minutes long. And I share all kinds of ways to shape the flowers, color the flowers, projects you can use them on, and so forth. So right now you're going to watch me just assemble this card with a little bit of commentary to go with it. I'm just using some art glitter glue here. I've already assembled some of it, as you can see. These papers are very bright and cheerful. They are from Graphic 45's, what's that called again? Oh, Ephemera Queen, Patterns and Solids. So I have popped up my little stitched rectangle, indented rectangle shapes here. You can see those little stitches around the edges. Popped it up with some foam tape. That's going to go down next. And of course, popping things up with foam tape just gives that much more interest and dimension. So I'm going to put that right in the middle. Okay. And then I have all these things prepped. I have die cut the basket, also out of that same Patterns and Solids paper. This is a yellowy golden color with a little floral pattern in it. And I sort of ink the edges and enhance those little divider lines in the basket just with a brown colored pencil and smudging it a little bit. And then I have actually put some foam tape all around the back of this, leaving a little bit of space here so that I could get some leaves and flowers behind it. But before I go doing any of that, I definitely don't want to put anything around the handle. I don't want to stick it down, I should say, until I'm ready. And I'm going to move it down here. And I say until I'm ready because some of my leaves and flowers are actually going to be behind this. So you want to leave that free of any adhesive for now. I can always lift that up and peel and stick those down later. So rather than just going for it here with some glue and getting these flowers on here, I always take a picture on my phone. I printed it out. I certainly didn't want to print it out this big, but that's how big it came out. So I have that off to the side. That was after I had it arranged and I liked how it looked and everything. And now I can just kind of refer to that and start sticking things down. So again, I think I'm going to go with my art glitter glue and get these on here. Okay, I'm gonna stop there because I just realized that these were the only two things that I had behind the actual basket handle. So before I go layering a bunch of stuff over the top, I am going to peel and stick down that area. Okay, and then now I can go back and get a little more glue behind here and some of these places where I know it's going to hit the basket handle, and get these glued down. Okay, that's taking shape. And you can see that I have shaped all of these actually, just like I say in my How to Make Flowers video, but can you see how these are cupped? Gives them just a little bit more dimension. Typically, I might even go in there with a little bit of foam tape, little squares, little pieces cut, but I'm not going to on this one. I'm just going to rely on the way I've shaped them, and by layering, hoping that they will keep their shape nicely. So I'm over here still following my picture. And then I've got one more. Okay, now I'm going to switch over to my super thick tacky glue because some of these flowers here, they're shaped and they're dimensional, and I really want them to grab and stay quickly. So I know that this glue is thick, it grabs quickly, it dries clear, and it's sort of my go-to glue for this type of thing. I'm trying to follow my picture, but I'm sort of making some decisions as I'm going here. A little change. Most of these flowers that I have made here were with the Distress Oxide inks, like I show in my how-to video. I think that all of them were done that way. So we have these little teeny tiny daisy looking flowers here. These are from the actual basket die set. There are little daisies in some of the other dies that Elizabeth Crafts carries, but this one is actually from the basket set. The basket set is great. Perfect for Easter cards coming, especially if you have the Josette's little bunny die, which I already started cutting out over here. I got some pieces. There's his little head and his body, and his little feet are over there. I'm going to work him into more of an Easter card as opposed to this spring card. Okay, and then we have this really cute little bow, which is also part of the die. We've seen these kind of things before, but this is the bow shape, and the bottom part of the bow is this here, and then the little band across the bow. And so it all comes together like that. Really super cute, very dimensional. And you can see I've got two pieces of foam tape back there, and I am going to put also some glue where it's going to touch the basket right there in the center, and a little bit on the bows there. Whoa. And then pop that right on the top of my basket. Super duper cute. All right, and then the very last thing for this card is Happy Spring. I just stamped it on some ivory cardstock in blue ink, inked the edges, made a little tag out of it, glued a little bow over there, and then colored in just with good old markers, like nothing special. And I think I'm gonna put that like right about there. So I believe all it's really gonna need is a little bit of tacky glue. I have gone as far as to add a little foam tape anywhere that, oops, this tag would hang off the edge. Yeah, so I'll probably go under here and here with a little bit of foam tape just so it has that stability. But there is that super cute card for springtime, all with Elizabeth Crafts dies. All right, another fun little spring project that you can use your Elizabeth Craft Design dies with is you could make a little welcome sign for your home. You could make another little card. I just happen to have some of these left over. This was actually from when I did the video about making succulents, which I showed you at the beginning of the video. So this looks to me a little bit more like a flower than a succulent. So I think I saved it. I want to use it here. And also I think I demoed these leaves in the flower making video. So I want to put those to use now too. So my thought is, again, I've got a stitched rectangle piece here, and I'll probably mount this to something a little bit more sturdy before I get too far. But just so you get the idea of what I'm after here, I'm going to probably put that there, glue those leaves over there. It looks a little tropical, but it also looks very springy because of that light blue flower. And then I've gone over here on a scrap of ivory cardstock, and you can see where I tested out the stamp. I've got a few extra letters than I really need, because here I tried to stamp Happy Spring. I started with the Y. I was going to go that way, which is what I do, just to make sure I have enough room. But you can see it's, you know, I used green ink. It's just kind of muddy looking. It doesn't look great. I do have some pencil lines there that I'm going to follow, but believe it or not, I'm going to go through and cut all these letters out and pop them on here, and I think that's going to make it look a little more colorful and less muddy. You could do this same thing much easier. Rather than stamping and cutting out, you could find a alphabet die cut set. This one just makes me happy with all its little polka dots, and this is, oh, this is probably not available anymore. It's from Close to My Heart, and it is called Polka Dot Alphabet. So perhaps you could find it online, but that's what I'm going to use. So let me cut those out really quick and pop them on here, and we'll show that to you. All right, just to prove that I actually did fussy cut all those little letters out, here's all the little pieces. I just used some good old, you know, fussy cut scissors. So I have them all cut out. I did go ahead and reinforce this particular cutout with stitched indented rectangle die. I cut another one out of ivory cardstock just to make this a little thicker, and then I have foam tape on the back of that. And then I cut one just a little bit bigger from this pretty green, and I also backed that with ivory. So this is going to be pretty solid and thick. But before I glue them together, I have run all my little cutout letters through my little Xyron sticker maker, and I'm just kind of rubbing off any extra glue strings before I try to peel these off. I've already burnished them really well with my bone folder, but you know how you still get a little bit of that extra stuff in there, and I don't want that coming with me, so I just kind of rub it out before I peel it up. Okay, and I am going to work from the back to the front, or the end of the word to the beginning. Cover up that Y that I already had, and I do have a little pencil line there. You see each of those? So I can go back in and erase those later. So let me get these down. You may have noticed when I was putting these letters down that I was overlapping them slightly, and to make them nice and tight. This is a kind of a common mistake that crafters sometimes will make, and stampers. If you notice any kind of signage anywhere, advertisement headlines, things like that, the letters are very tight. They are not spaced way out. So it's easier to read. It's a little more pleasing, I think, that way. And so I try to mimic that when I'm doing even a crafting project. All right, so that's looking cute. I'm gonna go ahead in here with my super thick tacky glue. I'm trying to still be able to see that S. So that feels very springy and festive and bright and cheerful. I do see a little bit of glue here. You may also have seen me working with these particular tweezers. I'm sure they have a special name, but these are like super fine tweezers. They've got a nice little pointy tip there. They're really great for detail work, and these are from Elizabeth Craft Designs. Love them. Okay, so my little happy spring is done. I feel like I'm gonna add a little something down here, but for now, that is something else you can do with some flowers that you may have had left over. All right, if you watched my flower making video, you saw all kinds of tips and tricks to put those together and techniques for coloring and all that good stuff. So after that video was over, I had a few leftovers lying around, and then I got to thinking how, I wanted to make a wreath or something for springtime. And it was very, very rainy the other day, and I got on the phone with a girlfriend, and that was the perfect time to just start making flowers. Even after the call was over, I ended up making these. It took quite a few hours of an afternoon, and oh my gosh, it was so much fun, you guys. So I thought I would show you very quickly several of the different flowers that I've made, the different dies that I used, and then we will put together my wreath. All right, we will start with these. They were left over from my other video, and they look like hydrangeas. There's some pink ones here that I dipped into some extra ink I had on my table. I put some little red centers on those and inked the outside edges. Those are all from the Florals 2 die set, which has all these great pieces. Of course, all these wonderful leaves you see sitting here that look like this and this are also from that die. And I've used some greens and blues just to make it a little bit different rather than yellows and greens. All right, next up are these cute little things that I showed in the succulents Facebook Live video that's also on YouTube now. I put some foam tape between these to make them a little puffy, but you can cut them flat, of course. I just had a few left over, so I'm going to save them and use them on my little wreath project here. And those came from the Florals 4 set. There's also some great leaves here and of course the flower shapes. But for my wreath, I've just used those particular pieces there. And then we have Florals 5. And I used Florals 5 to make these little daisy kind of flowers. Okay. Did them with the white soft finish cardstock and colored them with a very soft pink, and then put a little pearl gem inside of each one of those. I had a little extra piece I saved here. Might use that too. The very teeny tiny flower that's in there, yeah, that's from the set too. I thought that came from somewhere else, but no, that's from that set too. So those are ready to go. Florals 7. Did I use? Yes, that was these. I also showed how to make these in my flower making video. So I made a couple of more in the same way. Has the little prills inside of there, so that's from Floral 7. And let's see, the leaves. Yes, there's some leaves in this set too, so that's what these leaves are. And they were just cut from ivory cardstock and kind of shaped with the tools on the cushion. So I have a couple of those to play with. I also have, I'm looking for that other, oh yeah. I have all these wonderful leaves here that are colored with the oxide inks, and that was also from the Florals 5, and that's that leaf there. I like that one a lot. That's a good filler one, so I made a whole bunch of those with a couple of different colored greens and yellows in the oxides, maybe just a little bit of a bluish green color touched in there as well, and spritzed them and all that stuff, and then kind of shaped them as well. So I have a bunch of those to use. excited about that. And then we have these cute little guys right here. And if you watched my succulent making video, I used that particular die, which I'll tell you in a minute, to make something that looked like, well, my own kind of invention for a succulent. And that was this one in particular. It's in a little pot, so I have to be careful. But yeah, I did it with these purple colors, and there's those little guys there I was talking about earlier. I did incorporate a little bit more of those little guys into a bigger pot with a whole bunch of stuff in it. But that is from the Stamen Flowers set. Looks like this, has all these great things in it. Even these little curly cues. So that one's fun. That's how I made all those. And then we have all these wonderful leaves here. And those come from the Strawberries set. Oh, one of my favorites. So the leaf, the 3-piece leaf there is wonderful for so many projects. Of course, the strawberries are great and the little vines and everything. And there's even some little daisy kind of flowers in there, as you can see on the sample here. But I have gone ahead and made several of those and colored them and shaped those. These were also with the oxide inks. And what else do we have left here that I didn't mention? We have these little guys. I did some in a very soft blue with a teeny tiny pink center. Oh, that's why I have this die out. See the tiny pink center? That is from the Florals 1 set, these teeny little pieces that go inside of these flowers. But instead of using these flowers, I just use the centers. So these particular flowers come from, okay, here we go, Florals 3. That's what those flowers are from, right there, which were also the ones with this little sign here. Okay, so that's that one. All right, and then finally we have these little cuties here that were also made with oxides and water, and I used the little stamens that I showed you in the flower making video. These were made with also the Florals 1. It is shown as sort of a poppy, but of course you can make anything you want out of it. So I have all these goodies. I do have one leftover rose over here. So I have all these goodies and I'm ready to go, and I got myself a wreath from the craft store. So we're gonna put that together now. Okay, my wreath is from the craft store and it measures about 10 inches round. It's one of those grapevine wreaths. I have added some checkered ribbon, like some gingham that I had in my stash to make a little loop. I am gonna use a little command hook type of thing because I live in an apartment, and this is easily removed from my front door. And I have already begun using my hot glue gun over here and putting on some of the flowers. So I'm just gonna go at it. I'm gonna go a little fast and have you follow along as I just glue, glue, glue. glue strings everywhere, and I'm told that if you use a heat tool, you can wave it around some of those little strands and it will actually just kind of melt them away. So I'm going to try that. I don't have many, I just have a few. And it really does seem to be working. I don't see any more strands. So that's pretty magical. Okay, I'm going to go hang this on the door and then I'll take a picture and share it with you. All right, everybody, that's it for me today. My wreath is done. I'm going to go hang it on my door and take a picture for you. And I have this beautiful Happy Spring card now that I can send out either during Easter time or just for a springtime birthday. So thanks again for watching and hanging in there with me. I hope you give these paper flowers a try and enjoy some Elizabeth Craft Designs dies with me. Thanks again. Take care. Bye.